Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. If this is your first time here to the channel, welcome. To all of you on New Tech and my subscribers here on YouTube, thank you to all of you for your continued support, your participation, likes, shares, and comments. All of what you guys do is greatly appreciated.
We start things off with Newsweek. As Biden popularity falls, Democrats fear losing Senate 30 to 50 House seats. President Joe Biden was supposed to usher in the era of adults in charge again after a Donald Trump presidency that saw scandal after scandal and seemed to thrive on chaos. According to 538, Biden's approval rating sits at 45% with 49% disapproving. Those numbers closely mirror Bill Clinton's at the same point in his presidency and are worse than Obama's numbers in 2009. Well, none of this comes as any surprise to anyone, especially anyone who follows me here on the channel, because it was the mainstream media and tech giants that were creating scandal after scandal. We saw individuals like Avenatti, for example, bringing up some of President Trump's background back when he was still a Democrat. Believe it or not, when he was still a registered Democrat at the time, which is interesting because he got along with him well. And the chaos was just something that was brought up also as part of Orange Man Bad. And you have to factor in that if 538 is suggesting that his rating sits at 45% and his approval's at 45 and his disapproving's at 49, that goes to show you how bad it actually is. Because if you remember, as we have talked about in the past here, coverage of Trump's first 60 days delivered greater share of negative assessments than coverage of previous presidents. So President Trump had 62% negativity, which is equivalent or more than the last three presidents. And then you see his approval is only 5%. He only received 5% approval when it comes to media coverage. And then we see Joe Biden here, mostly positive 46, and about even mixed at 39. So nearly 85% is going to be the positive or average versus 14% negative. That is extraordinarily huge in comparison and significant to point out, because you have to keep in mind that if Biden were left on his own was left on his own to speak and to engage in the way he does, his approval would be so bad, and it's already bad. It's already declining, even with all the support that he gets. Here, Yahoo News. Biden's approval rating among black voters falls after private sector vaccine mandate. Now, on Wednesday, as of this recording also, I did a video on YouTube going after prominent creators who are anti-vaxxers. I hope I can say all of this because I might get demonetized, and with those new rules, who knows what's going to happen. But as we see here, and if you followed the channel on Monday, Sunday night, Monday morning, I released another video on the governor of New York beginning to fire individuals, the medical workers, medical professionals who did not get vaccinated, and she was threatening to bring in the National Guard to replace those individuals. So if you haven't checked out any of those videos, they will all be linked up there in the top right-hand corner. And we see here from Billy Preppa, only 28% of black Americans 18 to 44 years old are vaccinated in New York. That means that next month, when the vaccine passport law goes into effect, that is now, September, 72% of black Americans in New York will be denied service. If you think voter ID is racist, you must also think vaccine passport is racist. So there's a little bit of pushback from the black community. And of course, we saw, as I mentioned now, about YouTube, and we saw what happened with Nicki Minaj, which will also be up there in the top right-hand corner for you guys on YouTube. And if you like, I can post those links below this video for those of you on New Tech. So Biden is running into issues. We also know that inflation is surging under the Biden administration, but it's not just inflation. It's his failures in the Middle East, his failures in international politics as well, and in dealing with foreign nations. Because when you see here, we know gasoline's going up, energy, bacon, fresh fish, fresh whole milk, fresh fruits, major appliances, furniture, bedding, footwear, airfares increased, and commodities. So we're seeing this continue to happen. So his approval is going to start to go down. We also know that Dems propose a $3 trillion tax hike on working families and small businesses. There are two things you can always depend on when a Democrat president comes into office. One, taxes will be higher, and two, our adversaries and foreign countries will find ways to manipulate the president. Those are two very significant things because both of those things will affect the economy. When you raise taxes and when you have international issues, or when you have adversaries of this country will turn against us to make us look as weak as possible when we already have a weak president like a Democrat. Because the thing about Democrats, the reason they're so easily to exploit and undermine is because they base so much of their governance on popularity, looking popular and being popular. To them, popularity is a form of virtue. It is a way for them to determine that they are liked and that they are accepted for their ideas. So popularity plays a gigantic role when it comes to the left and Democrats. Now, to counter a lot of this negativity, we're seeing articles like this come out. Trump admits the midterms are about him, not the GOP. So again, they're trying to lean everything towards Orange Man bad, or Orange Man the tyrant, or the dictator, as it were, and trying to suggest that everything is dependent on him. And retrospectively, it could actually be that President Trump is going to be the very center of everything that's going to happen within the GOP. So they're not inaccurate with their information. It's the way they present it. And then, of course, the president was just here in Georgia for his rally. For Georgia Republicans, Perry rally shows it's Trump world or else. Now, you see, they just mentioned Georgia here primarily and not, the GOP, as we saw in the previous article from Real Clear Politics. But so the cards are starting to line up because they know they're in trouble. They know they're facing problems as we approach the midterms. Believe it or not, we'll probably vote as early as June. If we have early voting in the midterms, we'll be voting as early as June of 2022. So, of course, campaigning never really goes away. It just kind of slows down and then picks back up. But as we can see here, Biden is very much struggling, particularly after what happened in Afghanistan, and then what's happening with inflation, and what's happening in particular with these mandates. And what's so sad about these vaccine mandates is, like Afghanistan and like Australia, the president and countries are putting their vaccine expectations, their hallmarks, as it were, their benchmarks and their telemetry, all on reaching these kind of bragging rights of the vaccine, and it is at the expense of the citizens of our country and the citizens of Australia as these leaders pecker wave at each other to see who can achieve the greatest amount of pandemic power, as it were. And that's what I have for you guys this week.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. And, of course, below this video, you can find the various social media sites that I belong to, so avail yourselves of that if you want to follow me and see my daily posts there. And, of course, here on the channel, I am continuing and will continue to do the video shorts. If you guys aren't familiar with that, that's here on the channel by going to the main channel page and clicking on video. For some reason, they made some changes to it, so if you guys enjoy those little video shorts, I'll be continuing to post those. So thank you for the support of those as well, because those are kind of fun. They've helped the channel tremendously. And of course, if you're watching this here on YouTube, that would be the channel icon appearing right there on the screen to subscribe. You can click on that to obviously subscribe, along with notifications. That way you guys will know when there's content here on the channel on YouTube. Thank you to all the guys on New Tech, the follows and the likes there as well. And I will see all you guys right there behind that camera next week.